The tragedy in the Philippines still unfolds. I want to correct something I said yesterday. The CBN team was on the way from Manila. It got held up because of difficulties in air travel. As far as I can tell, it's on the ground now. But,
well, there was another storm coming, so they
another storm. They've got to do what they can. But in any event, we've got some shocking pictures of things that are happening over there. But relief supplies are slowly making their way to that devastating survivors. And the aid is coming from all over the world, including, of course, as I said, CBN.
Well, that epic storm affected more than 11 million people. We have two reports from CBN News, beginning with Heather Sells.
Thousands are lined up at the airport in Tacloban, hoping to leave an island that's been wiped out by the storm of a lifetime. This man from the UK is one.
Got no electricity, can't power mobile phones, so people back at home have no idea whether we're alive, dead or what.
For those left behind, it's another day of waiting and hoping that relief supplies will begin to pour in.
It's chaotic. I don't know where to go. We don't know where to go to get any food. So we just wait for help.
The logistics of getting help to those who need it are immense. The typhoon destroyed the port in Tacloban, so boats cannot get in, only planes. On the island itself, there's no gasoline, plus many roads are damaged and impassable. On day 6 of this disaster, the United Nations apologized for the delays in getting relief to the survivors.
I do feel that we have let people down because we have not been able to get in more quickly.
In the meantime, Filipinos have begun to bury the dead in mass graves. The toll stands near 2,400 and is still expected to rise. Now here's George Thomas with a close-up look at the disaster and the relief efforts.
On a private plane loaded with relief supplies, we headed on a 2-hour journey south from Manila.
Oh my gosh, look at that devastation. That is unbelievable.
CBN News got an aerial view of the destruction left by Typhoon Haiyan.
As far as the eye can see, destroyed homes, trees completely flattened. Last Friday, the eye wall of Typhoon Haiyan came right here, made its first landfall in Giwan.
John Tan is CBN Asia's general manager.
Giwan was the first town hit by this powerful typhoon.
He says while most of the attention is focused on Tacloban, the hardest hit city just north of here, dozens of towns like Giwan are also struggling to cope.
And so we felt that we should help them.
CBN Disaster Relief and local partners delivered much-needed food, blankets, tents, sleeping mats, and clothes.
So from today, we hope that we can continue to bring more goods on a daily basis.
Antonio Habrez is overseeing the emergency supplies coming into Giwan's destroyed airport.
Our food is scarce. We are isolated and it's hard to get to our city. But the food you've brought and other materials will be a big help.
Security is a big concern. The Philippine Army and police are on the ground to keep residents from looting and rioting.
The security is much better now that police from different parts of the country are here to watch over the town.
Grace Aman is among the hundreds of residents waiting at the airport to escape the chaotic aftermath of the storm.
I'm leaving my parents and my children here and going to Manila to get help from other relatives because we've lost everything.
5 days after the powerful typhoon ravaged large swaths of the country's midsection, many here are getting desperate.
I lost everything. What I am wearing today is all I have. I've been wearing the same clothes since the typhoon. This was our dining area. Over there was our bedroom.
Others like Steve have no other option but to stay.
I was in this corner like this. My child was next to me with a helmet on. My other child was in a container and my wife here in this corner.
Despite the challenges ahead, Steve says that he'll somehow find a way to rebuild because this is, after all, home.
We don't know where we go from here, but we are just thankful to God to be alive. So for now, we take one day at a time.
George Thomas, CBN News, Giwan, Philippines.
Well, that's some video. We also have some still pictures that Peter Darg of Operation Blessing took. We thought you'd show you some of them as well because they're so dramatic. And you can see the devastation. It's just unbelievable what devastation was wrought. And you can see those close-up pictures of what was there. And that was taken by our Operation Blessing people. And these are dead bodies that have been laid out, you know, waiting burial. As you go down the streets, I was there at Katrina, and we saw some things much like this. And I remember out in Mississippi and other areas along the Gulf. But this thing is just unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, I know you want to help. And so the address is CBN's Disaster Relief, CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we can give generously to that, because as the Lord will bless you and has blessed you, I think we've got to look after those people. And we'll get stuff on there. As I said, I thought we were going to be the first responder, and I was in error, because, you know, transportation was such that they couldn't get there.
Yeah, well, I think we had people on the ground, but we couldn't get the goods.
I think part of it, I'm not quite sure, but we've got medical teams and stuff coming in, and big water treatment should be delivered the next day or two. I don't know how soon it's going to be, but they'll be able to process 300,000 gallons a day of water, just one of those machines, and we've got a number of them coming. So that's a crucial need.
Yes, yeah, it's
you think that in an island nation surrounded by water, it wouldn't be any problem, but fresh water, fresh drinking water, we have a system to chlorinate the water and purify it. So, but it's tragic, and just pray for those people. And the Filipinos are lovely, lovely, wonderful people, and this suffering breaks your heart. Well, there's some suffering going on in Washington. Here at home, Democrats in Congress are getting more and more worried about all of the failures with that health care law. John Jessup has that story from Washington. Here's John.
Pat, the White House is trying to come up with some sort of fix for Obamacare after millions of people have had their insurance canceled. And the first numbers show that less than 27,000 people signed up for the program in the first month through the federal government's Obamacare website. Congress is still holding hearings on why the website was such a fiasco.
Well, you got the fancy title. You're the Chief Information Officer of the United States of America. That's a pretty big title, and you didn't know about this before the biggest domestic policy program website in the history of this country ever is launched, and you didn't know about this?
Democrats on Capitol Hill are also deeply worried about the program, especially since they'll be facing voters next year. And a new poll from Fox News shows more bad news for the president. 50% of voters believe President Obama knowingly lied when he told Americans they could keep their health care plans under Obamacare. 40% think he didn't know the law would cause people to lose their insurance. Pat, do you think the 40% who say the president didn't know are just giving him the benefit of a doubt?
Yes, I think they're hardcore Democrats, and they're not going to surrender regardless. You know, John, I was reading a comparison today about him and Clinton. They said, well, everybody just thought Clinton, he was Slick Willie from, you know, Arkansas, and they thought he was a liar anyhow about sex things, and so they expected it, and they loved him anyhow. But with Obama, he rests on his credibility. He's eloquent, and he has a gift, and he's anointed, and all this kind of stuff. And now they find he's got feet of clay. A, he doesn't know what he's doing, and B, he doesn't tell the truth. And I don't think he can recover. I think they say in the second term, he's got what's he going to propose in the next year that's going to change things around? The answer is nothing. And these Democrats have got to run on this. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the Democrats, said, well, we're going to run on Obamacare. It's going to be a great thing. And Carl Wolf was writing today, said, I hope that they follow that failed policy. But I mean, can you imagine going to the voters when they want to kill you for what you've just done to their health payer? I wouldn't be in the shoes of some of those folks up for re-election in the world. But it looks good right now for the Republican Party coming into the congressional midterm elections. They'll win a number of seats and keep control of the House. Whether they can take the Senate, but there's several states in play that have, would probably have gone for Romney, but they got the Senate seats. I think that the Democrats could very well lose the Senate as well as the House.
Will be an interesting election to watch.
Well, they've got to fix this thing, and what they ought to do is say, we screwed up. It was a mistake. We're going back to the drawing boards. Everything's off the table. We're sorry we put you to this trouble. but it'll take another year to fix it, and we're going to do it.
Yep, I think people would welcome the candor.
But you're not going to get any candor out of Obama. No way. John?
Pat, a new government report won't help the troubled Transportation Security Agency win any new fans. Since 2007, TSA has spent nearly $1 billion to train agents how to identify and screen suspicious passengers. But the Government Accountability Office calls the program, known as SPOT, a waste and essentially says it's been ineffective. The report, the subject of a hearing on Capitol Hill today, also shows the results of profiling were probably no better than chance. Republicans and Democrats are considering defunding the program. Well, the book Heaven is for Real, the #1 New York Times bestseller, will soon be a major motion picture. The book tells the true story of how 4-year-old Colton Burpo had a near-death experience in the operating room and later told people that he had been to heaven. CBN News has this exclusive early look at the promotional trailer for the movie, which is coming next year from TriStar Pictures.
We need to get him in surgery right away.
The pain that I suffered watching my son that close to death.
We're in trouble here. He's much worse. Will you call some friends and pray for him?
The hospital staff said that your son was not expected to survive. Use the word miracle.
Your son had a near-death experience.
He saw things that I can't really explain.
I lifted up and I looked down. Mom was in one room, you were in another room yelling at God.
He's been out there staring for hours.
Is something wrong with Colton?
Why do you say that?
Sometimes he says weird things. I've been here.
I don't think we've been here before, pal.
You had a grandpa named Pop, right?
He died when I was about your age.
He's very nice.
You saw my grandfather? Where did you see him?
In heaven?
Is this him? Is this the man you saw?
No, in heaven everybody's young.
Is this him?
Yeah, that's him. That's Pop.
I want to believe him. But everything he talks about is impossible.
You saw heaven? What does it look like?
It's beautiful.
We all want to be supportive, but we can't have our town turned into a circus.
They don't believe me, do they?
Some people might be afraid to believe.
Don't you think we need to be talking about this life?
Do you think my son went to heaven?
You don't have to worry. He told me everything was all right.
He's making a difference.
Well, you can see the full trailer for the movie starting tomorrow on CBNnews.com. And Pat, I got to say, that movie looks like it has the potential to be a truly transformational film.
I can't believe, you know, he first appeared, as I recall, on our program when we were doing a series about miracles, and we did a story about him, and then later they wrote the book and it sold over 1 million copies. But I must say the producers of this thing, it is masterful. If they follow through all the way through with what they've done there, it is a masterpiece. They are doing a tremendous, I am so moved.
Well, you know, it's a very, very compelling story. The book is well written. I mean, Colton himself on this program several times.
Yes.
One man's experience trumps another man's opinion.
But the way the producers have done this, it's so dramatic, it's so well done. I mean, my congratulations to whoever's doing it. I mean, it's magnificent. It'd be a must-see for Easter.
The governor of Hawaii has signed a bill legalizing same-sex marriage. The state legislature passed the marriage bill after the governor called a special session, but a Republican lawmaker has promised to challenge the new law. The measure goes into effect December 2nd. Another 14 states and the District of Columbia already allow same-sex marriage. A Rutgers University bus driver says he lost his job after praying for a disabled student. The bus company says Stan McNeil was given the option to resign because of an unspecified safety violation, but McNeil says the reason he was given was that he prayed for the student. McNeil claims the company told him they didn't want to put it on record they'd fired him, so he was forced to step down. Students have already taken to social media to ask the company to bring McNeil back. An online petition had more than 5,500 signatures by Thursday morning. And you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com.